Kazakhstan established and developed relationships with more than 140 countries worldwide. The country is a member of over 60 international organizations. Kazakhstan is an open and friendly partner, the initiator of the various integration processes in the world community, always ready to create the conditions for global dialogue. Kazakh-Turkish Investment Project. Cooperation with UNDP in Kazakhstan. Turkish businessmen invest in Kazakhstan. At the last meeting of the national company Kazakh Invest, Kazakh Enterprises and large Turkish holdings, 9 documents were signed. The total volume of agreements that we signed today is $590 million, and we hope that this will be a good contribution to the economy of Kazakhstan. The task of Kazakh Invest is to help large companies of foreign investors to come to Kazakhstan to start production and establish business here. And we understand the more successful their business will be in Kazakhstan, the better it is for Kazakhstan as a whole for the prosperity of our society. The Turkish delegation visited Astana within the framework of the visit of the President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, to Kazakhstan. It should be noted that the impact of these companies on the economy of their country is 15% of GDP. The coverage area of foreign direct investment from the signed agreements extends practically to the whole of Kazakhstan.
All проектлер әртүрлі салаларда болады. Agro
These projects are all different in different areas of agro-engineering and others. All of them meet our investment policy, according to which we're working to attract investors.
Инвестиция тарту жөнінде жасалған стратегиямызға байланысты өзіміздің жұмысымызды жүргізіп отырмыз.
As explained by Turkish investors, before the conclusion of final agreements, a number of meetings with the Kazakh side were held, based on the results of which data were monitored and analyzed. For example, one of the largest companies in the world for the production of ceramic tiles, with an annual output of 180 million square meters of material, concluded that the Kazakhstani market requires 20 million square meters of tile. And this is not the only project of the holding company, which will be implemented in Kazakhstan. The Turkish holding will conduct geological exploration in several regions of Kazakhstan.
Первоначальная сумма составляет $50 миллионов, но это как бы на начальной стадии.
The initial amount is $50 million, but this is at an early stage. Therefore, we hope that our partners in the future bring investments to find copper, gold, zinc, lead and silver. Yıldızlar is a large holding company, the 9th largest producer of copper and silver in Europe for the extraction and processing of silver. So this company, I think, is ready to work with us in Kazakhstan, because at this time we already have such experience. Last year, we already signed an agreement with Yildirim Holding, which is already working in Kazakhstan.
В Казахстане, потому что у нас уже в данное время есть такой опыт. Мы уже в прошлом году подписывали соглашение Yildirim Holding, который уже вошел в Казахстан, уже работает.
As representatives of the joint stock company, Kaz Geology noted, further cooperation within the framework of this agreement depends in many respects on the intermediate results of exploration work. Both sides are actively studying Kazakhstan's potential to develop promising projects for copper, gold, polymetals, with the involvement of both local and foreign experts.
За последние 3 года уже Казгеология
Over the past 3 years, Kaz Geology has already attracted more than 35 billion tenge. This is a good result because we received state funding from the state only by 3.2 billion. It turns out that we attract 90% of investors, only 10% at the state's expense. First, it is good when investors whom we involve remove risks from the state so that the state does not invest much because geology is full of risky projects.
Они снимают риски государственные, чтобы государство много не вкладывало, потому что это геология, это рисковый проект.
Today, the geological exploration enterprise uses high-tech equipment. As representatives of the company explained, negotiations are underway to purchase new drilling rigs. Together with the analytical data, the provision of complete information on the deposits or ore deposits of interest from the company's geologists contributes to attracting new investors.
Есть и другие проекты, которые в этом году уже мы начали. Это можно отметить вот иранский Гадир Холдинг, который мы буквально...
There are other projects that we started this year. One of them is Iranian Gadir Holding, with which we signed an agreement last winter, and they already entered Kazakhstan. And this year they have already begun ground and geophysical work. Our projects are being implemented. They're financed by Iranian side. And the second project that this year also started is the Russian company Polymetal. We began geological exploration in Kazakhstan literally since August. Aerophysical work since August is held in the Kustanay region. Aerosky company works in the Karaganda region. You see that Kaz Geology covers almost all world continents, global companies that cover the entire world.
Компания, которая работает во всем континенте.
Another project where the large Turkish holding company invests is the construction of a gas power station. The amount of investments is $160 million. These projects, for the amount of $350 million of investments, are only being launched at the design stage. We've already talked about this with local representatives of government agencies and have already discussed many issues with the Prime Minister. Together with our entrepreneurs who are also opening their businesses here. Once the preparation process is completed, we can immediately start the project, since the technology is already ready for us. As representatives of the holding explained, in the case of the ceramic tile factory, after the development of the Kazakhstan market, the company plans to increase its production capacity to 50 million square meters of material and export products to the countries of the EMP and Central Asia. Other Turkish investors also view Kazakhstan as a place to host their productions with subsequent reinvestment.
Компания в области
The company in the field of agriculture on the production of herbicide, pesticides, it is oriented not only to Kazakhstan, but also to the market of our neighbors. First of all, these are the CIS countries. Companies that already exist are here for the production of confectionery. We agree that they're opening a second production line, that this will be oriented to the Chinese market.
будет ориентирована на китайский рынок.
Two more memorandums totaling $12 million were signed between large Turkish companies and the industrial zone Ontustik, which is located in the south of Kazakhstan. Within the framework of the reached agreements, two plants for the production of lead concentrate and fuel dispensers will be built in the industrial zone. According to representatives of the Special Economic Zone of South Kazakhstan, each 2 hectares of land has already been allocated to enterprises.
На сегодняшний день в Южно-Казахстанской области...
To date, we have 11 industrial zones in the South Kazakhstan region, with a total area of about 1,000 hectares with a ready infrastructure. It also includes 1 industrial zone for foreigners, for Turkish citizens, the Kazakh-Turkish zone. The total number of projects we have today is more than 170 projects, worth more than 167 billion tenge. Of these, more than 60 were sold for the amount of 60 billion tenge.
На сумму 60 миллиардов тенге.
According to representatives of the industrial zone Ontustik, only from the beginning of 2017 to the last 2 projects they managed to attract more than 13 companies with investments in the amount of 14 billion 900 million tenge. As noted by the leadership of Kazakh Invest, all 9 concluded agreements are the result of long-term cooperation between the 2 countries. Preparations went on for a long time. Preparation was going on without stopping. It's all worked out for years. These are the visits of the head of our state, who also invited them more than once to come here. This is our business trip. It's the talk of both ministers and the Prime Minister. Preparations have been going on for a long time. Every company has matured, and now they're here. Most importantly, we got the result. To date, the total package of Kazakh-Turkish investments includes 70 projects, for a total of $2.7 billion. Of these, 31 initiatives are already implemented projects, and about 40 are in the process. The inflow of direct foreign investments from Turkey to Kazakhstan from 2005 to the first quarter of 2017 amounted to 2.1 billion US dollars. According to the results of the first half of this year, the foreign trade turnover amounted to more than 925 million US dollars, which is 36% more than the same period in 2016. Now more than 1,800 Turkish enterprises are active in Kazakhstan. According to the leadership of Kazakinvest, negotiations are currently underway with 8 Turkish companies, including the construction of furniture factory with an investment of 10.7 million US dollars. Kazakhstan builds global dialogue not only with foreign partner countries, but also international organizations. A presentation of a new project of the United Nations Development Programme and the Ministry for Foreign Investment and Development was held in Astana, with the financial support of the Global Environment Facility. Standards, certification and labeling of energy efficiency in electric appliances and equipment in Kazakhstan is part of the United for Efficiency Global Initiative, or the Union for Effectiveness, which was established by another UN unit, the UNEP Environment Program. The goal of the launched project is to transform the Kazakhstan market towards energy-efficient devices and equipment in order to reduce energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions.
Если говорить по
Speaking of the structure of lighting sources, in 2012 we had a structure for lighting incandescent lamps of 90% in the market. By the results of 17 years, we considered that about 50% only remained. There was an increase in LED energy-efficient lamps to 30–40% of the existing market in 2012. Import, export and domestic sale and use of incandescent lamps. In principle, the lighting policy demonstrated its results.
В принципе, политика по освещению показала свои результаты.
The new project will focus on the introduction of minimum energy efficiency standards and will also support the introduction of high energy efficiency standards on a voluntary basis, combined with product labeling and compliance with public procurement rules.
В рамках данного проекта и ряд других проектов, которых
Within the framework of this project and a number of other projects that the United Nations Development Programme has been implementing for the last 5 years, we're really directing our entire focus on reducing the carbon footprint and reducing greenhouse gases in various sectors of Kazakhstan's economy. For example, it is very important to increase energy efficiency in energy-intensive sectors of the economy: electrical appliances, transformers, refrigerators. Well, and for example, already such large macro sectors as transport, municipal buildings, and generally municipal infrastructure.
Транспорт, муниципальные здания и вообще муниципальная инфраструктура.
As representatives of the government agency and international organization explained, in the implementation of this initiative, first of all, work will be conducted to stimulate purchases of new energy-intensive devices to replace old ones. At the present time, the demand for energy-efficient technologies is still low. Therefore, at present, the Ural Transformer plant, for example, sends 95% of its output for export to neighboring Russia, where the consumption of energy-saving technologies is about 40%.
Энергосберегающий трансформатор, во-первых, он приносит электроэнергию.
Energy-saving transformers. Firstly, it brings electricity, transforms it. Secondly, it saves current electricity costs. And 20% of any customer has the opportunity to save every year. At the same time, the prepayment is only about 15–20% on the purchase of this equipment. The payback of this overpayment to this transformer is about 2 years.
Окупаемость переплаты на данный трансформатор составляет порядка 2 лет.
It should be noted that in addition to Kazakhstan, similar projects are being implemented in such CIS countries as Russia, Belarus and Armenia. And in those CIS countries where state bodies do not launch similar projects, such initiatives receive financial support.
Донором выступает Российская Федерация, трастовый фонд, который создан в сотрудничестве программы.
Donor is the Russian Federation Trust Fund. which is established in cooperation with the United Nations Development Program and the government of the Russian Federation. This fund was established in 2015, and now the fund is financing various projects of this kind of integration nature and development in the post-Soviet Union and other countries where there is a parity of cooperation development.
По которым есть приоритет развития сотрудничества.
The project is in line with the 13th UN Goal of Sustainable Development, Change Climate, and also aims at raising the level of education, awareness, and institutional capacity to mitigate the consequences of the global problem. In this direction, this is not the first joint initiative of Kazakhstan with UNDP.
Мы до этого
Before, we realized and completed the implementation of several more projects. For example, we completed the project to promote energy-efficient lighting. It was launched in 2012 and ended with the final conference in May of this year.
этого года.
However, Kazakhstan's cooperation with an international organization is not limited to only public projects. This year, for the 5th time, the Social Well-being Forum is taking place in the country, an annual global event aimed at promoting the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. The forum is held in almost all countries where our organization is present, and this is more than 170 territories and countries. We gather international organizations, private sector, non-governmental organizations, and other partners who wish to share their knowledge and experience in development. This year, the summit was held in more than 100 countries of the world, and the most large-scale forum was undoubtedly held in New York for the 8th time. In Astana, the forum was held on the site of the Nazarbayev University, where participants shared their experience in using modern digital technologies, education, and media resources in order to solve acute environmental and social problems within the framework of the topic Future in Focus. For example, the chief architect of the capital, Arseny Pyrozhkov, spoke at the event with the theme of development of Astana's master plan and innovations in the architectural appearance of the city.
В генеральном плане основное это идея.
In the general plan, the main idea is that it attracts fresh ideas of fresh views. This is the biggest innovation. It's not technical thing that somehow have intellectual fresh views. A young generation of people with experience, wise experiences. These are the innovations that we want to reflect in this master plan. The forum also told about the socially oriented project Smart Astana, aimed at safety and improving the quality of citizens' life.
Мы движемся наряду с целями устойчивого развития, которые
We are moving along with the goals of sustainable development, which are also taken into account in our forum. The Social Well-being Forum, which is again aimed at promoting social good and advancing the ideas of technological development.
и продвижение именно идей технологического развития.
The system of supporting high-tech projects is a form of social responsibility is another topic of the forum at the Nazarbayev University.
Так, например, в технопарке у нас работает.
So, for example, in a technopark, we have a business that has announced its competitions a few times a year, selects projects for accelerating business. We have already held 2 such competitions. We selected projects of young people under 35 years old with the decision to break down the city. This is smart city of clean tech and biomedicine.
И биомедицина.
The social project Cafe for People with Development Features was also presented at the forum Focus to the Future. As explained by the founder, a student of Nazarbayev University, Malian Akhmetov, had a lot to learn. At the very beginning of the journey, a similar project was shared in the state of Texas, the USA, and not only.
В апреле мы съездили в Египет.
In April, we went to Cairo, Egypt, on the Global Crowdfunding Academy. We learned how to organize crowdfunding, how to assemble a crowd of people who want to help, how they can help. Someone can give money, someone can have skills, and thanks to this, we're working now. We train professionals of the highest level.
У нас профессионалы высочайшего уровня.
Other topics that were presented at the forum are smart technologies of urban sustainability, development of STEM in Kazakhstan, inclusive education, development of youth science in the country, and others. The global conference, Social Good Summit, sets as its mission to unite the whole world in solving today's serious challenges and via using technologies and innovations improve the life of mankind.